Shugor nakaslem jong unongsan Hima.
Myntri ka Tnat Bording ka Jala James Sangma Nigasngi ulalum ya ka jingalang ya ki engineers ka Meecl ki directors bat ki Ophisar prepare Jong ka Tnat Meecl ban ya kren Sani bha habai dei bat karai jong sarkar hakini ki khnyatsngi barro banyatai kumno ban pankhlain ya ka Meecl makan la ban yeng hala ki jong ki jat tongin ya ngap ya ka karai ka ba kani ka Tnat ka sim lengba ka jingkren jong Myntri ka Tnat Bording ka sarkar Jala James Sangma.
The first one is regarding there has been a lot of talks about the outsourcing of the operation and maintenance of the Leshka and New Umtru project. So herein also it was expressed by the Meecl that they have the core competence for this and that they are very confident that they will be able to also go ahead with continue with the operation and maintenance of Leshka and of New Umtru. So therefore it was decided that that we will continue with the present system and we are putting on hold the O&M for Leshka and for New Umtru. Maintenance of the substations, the new ones which have been constructed, that also was discussed. And we have decided to go for complete automation because we have seen that we have less manpower, and to also go in for additional manpower will put in additional financial burden on the corporation, and therefore it is in the best interest of the corporation to go for automation in these substations, which will then reduce the dependence on manpower, on additional manpower. So that is also something that was discussed. Then another very important decision that we took today was regarding the practice of the Meecl right now, wherein if there is any damage to a transformer supplying electricity to a village, and if these villages have huge outstanding dues, the practice, as we all know, is that these damaged transformers are only replaced after a minimum of 30% of the outstanding dues have been cleared by the village. We have felt that this is very unfair, and we have gone into revisiting this, and we have taken a decision that Meecl will not be continuing with this practice. For any damaged transformer in a village, even if there are outstanding dues, these will be the onus of ensuring that the outstanding dues are repaid in time, and also the fact that after the transformer is replaced and energy is restored, electricity is restored to this village, those who have defaulted, their disconnections will be disconnected, and it is the onus of ensuring that these people don't go back to illegal hooking would be placed on the village electricity committees or the Rangbashnongs, the headmen and Nokmas, whichever would be applicable in whichever place. So the moot decision was that the main decision was that wherever damaged transformers are there, these will be immediately replaced as soon as possible, and electricity would be restored to these villages. But those who have defaulted on their payments, their connections would be disconnected. We have also decided in terms of the O&M which are already in existence. These are there in all the three utilities, be it generation, be it distribution, or be it transmission. There are many O&Ms which are already in place. We are relooking and revisiting all of them, to see whether these have been in the best interest of the corporation or not, and we will be terminating those which we feel are not in the best interest, and we want to have a uniform policy in terms of O&M for the corporation. um, we have also I also realized today in the course of this presentation given by the MEECL that all three utilities are facing a very common problem in terms of shortage of manpower. There are many sanctioned posts, and uh, against these sanctioned posts there are many vacancies that are there. So we understand that the MECL is facing a huge financial stress, and that is why the Power Department has, in the past, come out with an order uh, to instruct MECL that all further recruitments will have to be vetted by the Power Department. Today, in the presentation, it was informed to the Power Department to me that there are many posts which are very, very essential and crucial to the better functioning and proper functioning of the corporation. So we have instructed MECL to give us the whole list of those positions which are still lying vacant, and to see how we can fill these up. But the justification has to be given as to uh, that the justification that these are absolutely essential and necessary. We have also realized that a lot of manpower which is there in the MECL. There are about 4,800 employees, which is inclusive of contractual employees in the MECL. And despite having this very big workforce, there is very less efficiency in terms of output. So I have also instructed the CMD and the MECL that a rationalization exercise should be conducted wherever it is found that uh, employees are there uh, not proportionate to the requirement which is there. Then we will be rationalizing this and make sure that wherever there is less manpower, wherever there is manpower which is required and is not in place, there we will rationalize it so that employee strength can be equally and equitably distributed through the organization. About the tariff, and as to how tariff has for so many years not been increased, that has been a concern that was raised in the meeting. So we have asked the MECL to make sure that whatever review petition has been filed with the MSCRC, that they should do due diligence, and they should uh, uh, give a very focused approach to making sure that whatever review petition is submitted to the MSCRC is done in a proper manner. Whatever manpower is required, whatever expertise is required, that should be taken advantage of, and they should ensure that a proper review petition uh, is put up to the regulatory commission for revision of our tariff. Then other things that we have discussed in the generation in the utility is regarding some of our generating stations which are there, namely the Untru station, which was commissioned in the year 1957, and this is right now not generating any power. So the power department has asked the MECL to prepare a report on how we can activate and kickstart the Untru 1957 power generating station. We have also instructed the generating utility that two projects which are in the pipe, which are in the process of construction right now, implementation, which is the Riangdo and the Ganol project. These are both small hydro projects. These have to be reviewed, and a review report has to be given on a timely basis. Um, the other things that we have discussed today is that there are many ongoing schemes which are being implemented by the MECL. which are towards the system improvement of the distribution network. These are centrally sponsored schemes, and some are EAPs. So these schemes have to see timely implementation and timely completion. So this has to be taken up on priority, so that the strengthening of the distribution networks, whatever schemes are there, will eventually help in bringing about a turnaround in the MECL. In terms of reduction of the aggregate technical and commercial losses, this subject was also brought about in terms of how do we reduce AT&C losses, how do we improve billing efficiency. So these matters were discussed, and many suggestions were also provided and given by the engineers. And we have asked the MECL that they should also take it up on mission mode to bring down the AT&C losses and to improve billing efficiency. Um, Another very alarming thing that came to light today was regarding dependency of the statement of accounts and the audit that has not been taking place for the past 3 years, I think 3 or 4 years, which needs to be done on an urgent basis, because, as we all know, the MECL is a corporation and is governed um, by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and they have to make sure that uh, these audits, which have are pending for a very long time from 2017, if I'm not wrong, so these have to be taken up. And I was informed that the matter is being pursued rigorously, and we expect that the audits and the statement of accounts, this whole exercise should be completed very soon. And but this is a matter of grave concern, and it's good that we had this meeting so that this could come out, and action is being taken on that. Of course, the revenue leakages in terms of realization of outstanding dues, which has been a big concern for the corporation. This was a concern for which the MECL had come up with a drive to realize these outstanding dues both from HT and from LT consumers. One of the ways that we had gone for realization was to go on a disconnection drive. So this realization of the outstanding dues will continue, and this has to be pursued vigorously. That is something that has been instructed to the MECL, so that we realize our outstanding dues. So these were the issues which were very broadly discussed today, and these are very complicated issues. These are issues which have been going on for a very long time, and within a very uh, short span of 3.5 hours, we try to discuss all these issues. But I think that the direction in which we need to go ahead, MECL is very much, with all sincerity, looking towards working. That assurance has been given to me by the engineers and also by the association of the MECL. And I'm very hopeful and I'm very positive that we will see a turnaround very soon. And the discussions have at least brought about more clarity, because this has come from many of the engineers who have expressed very, very candidly about the kind of issues and the problems plaguing the organization. There is um, uh, a list of assets which has been compiled by the MECL. Of course, this is something that we have to sit with the government and MECL together. They have to sit down and go through that entire list of assets which are there with the MECL. So this is a security mechanism whereby MECL does not, tomorrow feel that everything is being done for them. They're being, spoon fed, so to say. And so therefore we have this security that is there to make sure that that level of seriousness is there in terms of repayment of the outstanding dues or repayment of the loan that is being taken for Atmanirbhar. So we're looking very broadly at a turnaround of the MECL, and see the turnaround would envisage um, reduction in AT&C losses, would also envisage improvement in our billing efficiency, would also look at how we can build up capacity of the MECL. And for that also, I forgot to mention this, that we are also looking at how we can have capacity building exercises for our engineers, for our accountants, for basically the staff of MECL. So all these factors put together, how do we improve our revenue that is coming in, realize our outstanding dues. So once we have all these things in place, we expect that that is what we will define as a turnaround. Increase in revenue, reduction in leakages, improvement in the functioning of the corporation, um, improvement or rather reconciliation of the accounts and whatever backlogs that are there in terms of the pendency of the audit and of the statement of accounts. So all these things, once we have it, we would consider that as a turnaround within a period of 6 months. That is the target that's been set. You, Fak, that it is something of a roadmap that we have tried to put into place, but implementation is a completely different thing, and the challenges are there, especially because of the way things have gone on in the past, and what if it falls back into that same sense of complacency. But the assurances have been given by the corporation. There was today's meeting was a very good meeting, because the engineers, the association, they have expressed that they are very keen, and they are very thankful for the confidence which the government has shown on the MECL. And we want to look at it in a very positive frame of mind, and we want to see that yes, that 6 months is not a very long time, and within 6 months, if we can see a turnaround, well, it's for the benefit of the entire state then. So Ivan, that we are taking up, that have been discussed in today's meeting, some of them I just spelled out to you. I mean, you were not there, but but we feel that these measures are going to go a very long way in, in not just improving the situation in 6 months, but in a very, very long time to go. I feel that things are falling into track right now. Backlog, if I'm not wrong, of about 300 faulty or damaged transformers. So this is a very conservative figure. It could be more. Plus we have the monsoons which are setting in, and we do find that the frequency of damage to transformers is more during the monsoon, so it could be going up very shortly. Or but as of now, if I'm not wrong, the last time I found out, the figures stood at 300. So it's a big number, and some of them have not been replaced. Why? Because there have been outstanding dues to the corporation, and we feel that this as a service provider, it is incumbent on the MECL to make sure that that service is given to our people, our citizens. But those who do not still want to pay those outstanding, we will go on a disconnection spree, and we will make sure that their connections are disconnected. Work culture is something, I think, for any organization, it's very important that a certain amount of work ethics, work culture has to be brought up. But along with that, we also realize that we also need to build up capacity. So when we build up capacity, it's not just about updating them on, and sort of cultivating work ethics and work culture in our employees, but also to improve their knowledge. Energy sector or power sector is technology based, and we all know how fast technology moves. One thing that is in today becomes obsolete in the next few months, in the next few years. So therefore it's very important that our engineers are always very up to date with in terms of what are the emerging technologies, especially in the renewable energy sector, and how they update themselves and how they are informed about how the world is moving. So that capacity building is very important, and we want to put a lot of focus in that. So while doing that, we also would like to see that our work ethics and the work culture of the Meecl also is taken care of. Um, the expenditure is something, as I said, this is something that's been going on, and it's a routine, routine process. I'm not very sure, because this is a very specific question you've asked as to what would be the expenditure. So what we have right now, as I mentioned, is that we have a stock of transformers which we have already purchased and which are there. So all we need to do is to take that, bring the old transformer back, the damaged one back, and replace it with a new one or a repaired one. So that's a routine process which keeps going on, and that is what we'll be doing. So it's not like something that out of the blue there will be an additional financial burden on the Meecl. There are two workshops which are there. One is in Sumer and one is in Tura, Dakopri and Tura. So these workshops are there, which have been functioning for a very long time, for that matter of fact, for that matter, and these have a certain capacity. So I think what we will also be exploring is to how we can improve these two repair stations that we have, whereby we can increase the capacity of repair, so that buying of new transformers, that kind of burden, we can reduce that. But we already have two existing ones. We will continue with our the exercise to recover our outstanding dues. We've had an OTS, which the one time settlement scheme, which has been fairly successful. We have also gone on a disconnection spree, which has spurred a lot of the defaulters to come forward and clear their outstanding dues. So that has also shown a fair amount of success. So we will be looking at whoever are these HT consumers, or be it LT for that matter, consumers who are defaulting. We will be disconnecting, and then we will only reconnect these connections after these dues are